Good evening, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to AZMR. I'm going to start the show by acknowledging that this show was created on the stolen lands of the Jagera and Turrbal peoples. I pay respects to their elders, past and present, and I acknowledge that sovereignty over this land was never ceded. Sovereignty was never ceded. Sovereignty was never ceded. Good evening, and thank you for tuning in this evening to AZMR on Zed Digital. Zed Digital. Zed Digital. This is episode number 21. 21. My name is Polly, and I'm going to take you through the next 2 hours of ASMR content, low sensory content, just generally hanging out and giving you a bit of background noise for whatever it is you're doing, and trying to help you get to sleep. Just helping you get to sleep. If you'd like to tune in to previous episodes, you can find them on either the 4ZZZ on demand web service for zzz.org.au/program/AZZZMR, or you can find us on YouTube for the oldest episodes as they have visuals and just a generally cute time. Head to our social media, AzZzMR.4ZZZ, Instagram and Facebook, give us a follow if you like, and stay up to date when we release new episodes, and just posting photos of my cat Coco pretty much constantly, which is fine. That's all just fine. For those of you who tuned in last week and are wondering if I am better, if I've stopped being sick, the answer is mostly my voice is still a little bit funny and drops in and out, but generally I'm feeling much better. So we won't be doing any weird WebMD stuff this evening. Nothing weird going on tonight. Absolutely nothing weird going on tonight. So coming up on tonight's show, episode number 21, we will be doing some reading of negative game reviews. Now, normally we read negative Nintendo game reviews, but these reviews are from Games Master magazine and includes Xbox and PlayStation and PC games as well, not just Nintendo games. So we'll be doing some negative games reviews to kick off the evening. After that, we'll be reading some more crystal backed cards. Just a few more of those to try and work out what crystals we want to have in our lives, which crystals of our crystal crystal fact cards are the right crystals for us. After that, we'll be reading from a pamphlet that I picked up at the Cataract Gorge in Launceston. It's the Cataract Gorge Chairlift pamphlet, and reading to you a little bit about the chairlift and the Cataract Gorge. So that's a little bit interesting. If you're wondering how I got to Launceston, well, I went there on holiday last weekend with most of my band, which is a little bit of a cute time. We just had a nice Tasmanian adventure. We went to Launceston and then to Cradle Mountain, and yeah, it was a bit cute. Had a few adventures along the way, and I'll probably be telling you a bit more about that in coming weeks. Just going to be telling you a little bit about that tonight and talking about the Cataract Gorge, which, yes, that will be a bit cute. Also coming up tonight, we're going to be doing some origami folding. We did a few of those a few weeks ago, but just a couple more of the origami folding patterns because we only got a couple done, and there are so many more. I don't know if we'll get through all of them, but we do a couple more tonight, so that's going to be a cute time. And of course we close out the show with just some gentle piano music, just to help you drift off to sleep. So I hope you enjoy what's coming up tonight on episode number 21 of AZMR on Zed Digital. Thanks for tuning in, and let's get started. Okay, so first, we're going to get stuck into the Nintendo Games Reviews. Now these comes from a different magazine to usual. This is Games Master magazine. Games Master magazine. Normally we do like Nintendo magazines, so I don't know where I got this one from and why I only have one issue. And yeah, we all have questions. But it's Games Master, the master of games since 1993. I wonder if it's not just Nintendo games. Oh, it does say PS2, PS3, Xbox 360, Wii, Xbox, Nintendo GameCube, DS, Game Boy Advance, PSP, and PC. Okay, so multiple different consoles. Cool. So this is GM197. That's issue number 197. April 2008. Only £3.99. So it's another UK one, which is fine. So on the front it says reviewed Mario Kart Red Shells at the ready. It's the first review of the Ultimate Mario Kart. 3, 2, 1, go. And I'm not 100% sure which version of Mario Kart that is. I guess the one that was on the Wii would probably be the most recent, in April 2008. Every game, every format, every month. Cool. Okay, interesting. So, doing a little check through, I found there was only one review that was less than 50%. So I've also included reviews that are less than 60% because, otherwise we would only be here for one review and that's just a bit silly. So yeah, we're going to do the reviews, negative-ish reviews that are less than 60%. Less than 60%. So, start off with Lost, the video game Lost, the video game. Out now, format 360, price £39.99. Other formats, PC, PS3. Developer, Ubisoft Montreal. Publisher, Ubisoft. Website, lostgame.us.ubi.com. Players 1. So yes, it looks like this review was done on the Xbox 360 version, but it is also on PC and PS3. Okay, I'm starting to understand how this magazine works. Lost, the video game. Losing its way in the mist and mystery. Making a game based on a series that's as cherished as Lost requires a delicate balancing act. You have to stay true to source material to appease the fans, while manipulating it enough to introduce decent gameplay. The problem with this game is that the treatment is so delicate that the result is a game with no impact. It's broken up into episodes, each with a cliffhanger ending, with you playing as a previously unseen survivor, who's suffering from amnesia brought on by the crash. Your job is to find clues to your identity while helping the group survive on the island by hunting for items and solving rudimentary puzzles. This adventure game setup could have been a big success, as it suits the mysterious subject matter, yet it's all undermined by the linear nature of the challenges that offer up foolproof clues and the invisible walls that discourage exploration. Also, you'll soon be put off chatting to other survivors, as it just means enduring loads of dialogue that gives no insight into the show or your current quest. There are some interesting touches, such as the interactive flashbacks that require you to take a picture to log your memory. Visually, it's impressive. However, this isn't enough to recommend a game that seems designed to not offend anyone and so is likely to disappoint everyone. The worst bit, exploring the caves. Extremely dull, but you'll fall down a hole if you don't concentrate. Judgment. Graphics 72%. Luscious jungle and great characters undermined by invisible walls. Gameplay 58%, a muted mix of puzzle solving and contrived action, one for huge fans only. Lifespan 45%, the game lasts about 10 to 12 hours and doesn't offer much replay value. Overall 58%. This tiptoes around the TV series rather than turning out a quality gaming experience. Should you buy it? Better than Actually Being Lost? Worse than 24 The Game? 80%. Wait for Alan Wake? Best price £29.99, amazon.co.uk. NFL Tour. Out now. Format Xbox 360. Price £49.99. Developer EA Big. Publisher EA. Other formats PS3. Web easports.com/NFL Tour. Players 1 to 2. NFL Tour. Less of a tour, more of a snore. While we Europeans devour the pared-down football trickery of FIFA Street, our cousins across the pond are stuck with NFL Tour, previously known as NFL Street. But where FIFA Street has done away with some of the traditional footy conventions to allow the gymnastic qualities of the players to shine, and added off-the-wall arcade gameplay, NFL Tour looks like it was put together by people who were rushing to get the game out on sale. You could consider NFL Tour to actually be enjoyable because it presents American football in a rapid, quick-fire, simple-to-play fashion, which makes it far more accessible to the more casual audience that it's likely to attract. It's managed to do this, however, without any of the enjoyment of the previous NFL Street titles. Fantasy football. The previous games were scaled down but injected with unrealistic but entertaining features that made the game fun. This is just bare-bones American football with weak, unimaginative game modes and none of the over-the-top entertainment. Plus, it has one of the most annoying commentators we've ever heard. Somebody obviously thought it was clever to record more lines saying how repetitive games commentators are rather than actually giving us worthwhile or useful dialogue. It's not ironic, it's lazy, and so is NFL Tour. To charge £50 for a game that is only passable as an unlockable in a proper American football game is shameful. Avoid. Worst bit. Look, he's getting smacked to the ground and can't even muster a grimace. Judgment. Graphics, 62%. None of the extreme cartoon graphics or attitude of the NFL Street games. Gameplay, 42%. Basic button-mashing American football with all the fun and skill missing. Lifespan, 47%. Uninspiring career mode. Feeble minigames, and little to keep you going. Overall, 51%. Bare-bones American football without the entertainment we enjoyed in NFL Street. Should you buy it? Better than nothing. Worse than NFL Street 2, 75%. Wait for Madden NFL 2009. Best price, $39.99 from Amazon. Army of Two. Out now. Format Xbox 360. Price £49.99. Developer EA Montreal. Publisher EA. Online objective-based versus. Other formats PS3. Web ea.com/Army of Two. Players 1 to 2 or 1 to 4 online. Army of Two. Are two warheads really better than one? After IO's Kane and Lynch spectacularly struggled to justify the hype, it's fallen to EA to drag the co-op shooter back into gamers' good books. The sardonic homoerotic tomfoolery and FNAR-laden quips about watching each other's backs aside, the concept of having to totally rely upon your partner, an AI one at that, in the heat of a war zone is intriguing stuff for any fan of shooters. Apart from obvious bits such as co-op sniping, tandem parachutes, or giving one another a boost up to otherwise inaccessible areas, Salem or Rios will cover one another, laying down, suppressing fire, and even haul each other's ass out of a firefight if things have gone a bit Pete Tong. Fooling enemies by feigning death never gets old, but fights swap tension for frustration while the actual blasting feels spongy and unsatisfying. Brain dead. At heart, though, Army of Two was always going to live or die on one thing, the game's much heralded PAI partner artificial intelligence. Sadly, while teaming up with a mate can be fun, your computer ally is inconsistent at best, rage-inducing incompetent at worst. Case in point, CPR. Your buddy ambles along and grabs you, but instead of taking you to cover, he drags you both into the middle of the war zone where a gory, utterly unnecessary death awaits. The Tool. The recent delay in which much of the swearing was canned, majority of vehicle levels chopped, and awful tampon-based minigames dumped may have helped prevent an absolute stinker, but the multitude of flaws means it remains a hard game to recommend. Let's write this one off as an MIA. Best bit. It's all a bit camp, but during split screen bouts, Smartass Salem and Grumpy Rios make us laugh with their jock-like banter and their hopelessly inappropriate air guitar efforts. Judgment. GM loves the back-to-back shooty bits, feigning death while falling downstairs, spectacular full-motion video cutscenes. GM hates the horrid AI discrepancies, the flawed cover system, that the firearms lack oomph. Graphics, 70%, largely competent, but looks painfully like an up-resed PS2 title in places. Gameplay, 61%. Fights soon descend from thrilling into slogfest. Poor AI hardly helps. Lifespan, 54%. A brief campaign, 6 hours, is fleshed out with a competitive versus mode. Overall, 59%. Too many flaws here, and so the wait for the ultimate next-gen co-op shooter continues. Should you buy it? Equal to conflict denied ops, 59%. Worse than Kane and Lynch, Deadmen, 68%. Wait for Faith and a 45, Autumn. Best price, $39.99 from gameplay.co.uk. Kawari. Out now. Format PC. Price $5 or £2.60 approximately. Per 5,000 ammo, plus pay per hit fees. Developer Microfort. Publisher Kawati Limited. Online yes. Website kawari.com. Players 2 to 16. You're going to pay for this video game. Kawari, you're going to pay for this video game. Do you feel like you don't take enough financial risks every time you play a game? Are you disappointed that when you play a deeply substandard shooter, money isn't disappearing from your bank balance? Want to actually pay for ammunition? Then do we have the game for you? Kawari promotes itself as an online shooter where you can earn money as you play. The game's free, but you have to pay for your ammo, and then pay an awful lot more as you play. You set up a bankroll, and then during play, any health or weapons you pick up, or any time you get hit, you lose cash. If you hit, you gain money, win, and you gain even more. How much depends on the level you're playing. Currently, it's either half a cent or 2 cents, 1 pence per item, with higher levels planned in the future. Although in the US, a chap won a gold jackpot recently worth $20,000, about £10,600. There are a few problems. The first being, if the charts on Kawari's site are accurate, in 2 months only 8 people have made gains. It doesn't seem the most profitable venture. The second problem, and this one's a bit of a biggie, is that it's rubbish. The graphics are a decade out of date and the controls are absolutely appalling. Compare it to contemporary shooters such as Unreal 3 or Quake Wars and it's completely laughable. In fact, compare it to Quake 3 and it looks incredibly shoddy. Cashing in. If they want us to pay to play, it needs to be astonishingly good. This isn't anywhere close. Anyone who's old enough to have a credit card should know better than to spend it on something like this. Judgment. Graphics, 30%. Absolutely terrible and at least 10 years out of date. Laughable. Gameplay, 48%. Very, very standard online shooting with no innovation or imagination. Lifespan, 20%. It depends how much money you're willing to spend, not much if you're wise. Overall, 46%. That doesn't make sense. They got 30%, 48% and 20%. And then they gave it 46%. I think it should have been a lot less. But anyway. Can't do math, I guess this magazine can't really do math. Overall, 46%. It technically functions as a shooter, but it needed to be a lot better to fit its gimmick. Should you buy it? Better than bingo. Worse than most other shooters. Wait for nothing. Best price, it's free. But you have to pay for ammo. That sounds like the worst. Everybody, that sounds terrible. Worms, a space oddity. Worms, a space oddity. Out 28th of March. 28th of March. Format, Wii. Price, $39.99. Developer, Team 17. Publisher, THQ. Web, thq-games.com. Players 1 to 4. Worms, a space oddity. My, how the worm has burned. How do you make one of the world's most immediate and accessible games even more immediate and accessible? You, at the back, what's that? Shoehorn it needlessly complex motion sensing and increase the power of the weapon so much that each game rarely takes any more than a few rounds, you say? Wrong. Oh, tisk. Spineless. Team 17 probably knew that they weren't onto a winner when it became necessary to include multi-part instructions on screen with the weapons. Some are fair enough. Plunge the remote down to set off the dynamite. Guide the homing missile by dragging it across the screen. But others are as hellish as an underwear drawer full of worms. Actually firing a normal bazooka shot is so convoluted and counterintuitive we can't even begin explaining it to you. Even when you master it, it's not as good as classic worms, because the weapon power has been cranked up to 11. It means that the landscape is utterly destroyed in a couple of shots, wiping out any opportunity for strategy or indeed fun. The mini-games are decent, but the main game is, sadly, one to avoid. This is one worms game that should be left to float off in space. Judgment. Graphics, 80%. Vivid 2D backdrops reminiscent of Open Warfare 2, but more detailed. Gameplay, 55%. Worms only without the immediacy and the everyone can play ethic. Lifespan, 58%. Single player modes are as dull as ever. Plenty of wacky costumes to collect. Overall, 52%, which again doesn't make sense with those numbers, but I guess it's just an arbitrary overall. Okay, sure. 52% worse than biting into an apple and finding half a worm or half of your own finger. Should you buy it? Better than Godzilla Unleashed. 45% worse than Battalion Wars 2. 77%. Wait for De Blob, June. Best price $29.98 from Amazon. Nitro Bike. I feel like we might have read a review for this in a previous one on a different magazine, but anyway. Okay, Nitro Bike. Out now. Format Wii. Price £19.99. Developer Left Field. Publisher Ubisoft. Online 6-person multiplayer. Web ubi.com. Players 1 to 4. Nitro Bike. On your bike, Ubi. Play Nitro Bike for any length of time and you'll become convinced that it was coded in a parallel universe where the laws of physics have become slightly shuffled. The main problem lies in its maddeningly inconsistent collision mechanics. Head-on crashes will have your rider sprawling in the dirt, whilst clipping a flimsy piece of scenery can result in you exploding like a gerbil in a microwave. It's unpredictable, frustrating, and feels a lot like rollerblading through a minefield, as exhilarating bursts of speed are all too frequently punctuated by jarring explosions. Add in graphics so poor you'll be convinced you've got grit in your eyes and a dated thrash metal soundtrack, and you've got quite a turkey on your hands. And it's a real shame because in places Nitro Bike gets it right. The controls, using the side-on Wiimote to steer, are good if not great. The track design is pleasantly apocalyptic and it's very, very fast in places. But even at its low price tag, this is a disappointingly patchy and ultimately underwhelming racer. Stick to the four-wheeled variety. Judgment. Graphics, 55%. Very rough around the edges, would have looked at home on PS1. Gameplay, 60%. Good controls and occasionally thrilling, but more often it's frustrating. Lifespan, 65%. It's challenging and online play will up its lifespan a good deal. Overall, 59%. It's not quite as dreadful as it looks, but it's not the next Excitebike 64, a spiker either. Should you buy it? Better than Donkey Kong Jet Race, 40%. Worse than Excite Truck, 74%. Wait for Mario Kart Wii, see page 44. Best price, £17.98. Bleach Shattered Blade. Bleach Shattered Blade. Out 29th of February. Format Wii. Price £39.99. Developer Polygon Magic. Publisher Sega. Web sega.com/bleach. Players 1 to 2. Bleach Shattered Blade. A total whitewash. Raging ice snakes. Wind sprouting loons. Swords the size of Cornwall. Team GM on deadline day is a truly horrifying sight. Ha! Of course we're talking about the cast of anime manga sensation Bleach and layering the beats down on one another in Shattered Blade, although the finished product turns out to be 10 times more horrifying than the Team GM on deadline week. Bleach does one thing very well. Lots and lots of fast slicing. Waggle the remote and your on-screen hero, you pick 32, bursts into flailing life. Huge 30-hit combos are commonplace, and the chaotic light show that accompanies each slice suitably evokes the mental animation of the show. Sadly, waggle the remote and your on-screen hero will also win by default. Bleach is one shallow fighter. Sure, button presses will modify your remote slicing attacks, but so awkward is it to get the remote to recognize a horizontal slice, vertical chop or forwards jab, that each match descends into moronic shaking. If you can prepare a packet of salt and shake crisps, you can beat Bleach, and shaking the nunchuck to build up Bankai energy, transforming you into an even more powerful flail bot, removes further skill. It's fast and silly, but simply too lacking in technicality to recommend, even to hardcore Bleach fans. Judgment. Graphics, 55%. There's a nice hand-drawn edge to the characters, otherwise it's basic stuff. Gameplay, 50%. Matches the hectic nature of the show, if only it wasn't so utterly shallow. Lifespan, 50%. The story mode is replayable using a new character, but the multiplayer's poor. Overall, 51%. Bleach is one of the deepest, most interesting shows out there. The game, sadly, isn't. Should you buy it? Better than nothing worth buying. Worse than Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 2, 77%. Wait for Smash Bros. Brawl, see page 58. Best price £24.95 at 101cd.com. Professor Kageyama's Maths Training. Professor Kageyama's Maths Training. Out now. Price £19.99. Developer Nintendo. Publisher Nintendo. Players 1 to 16 on DS. Nintendo are really stretching the whole training thing. This hardly constitutes a game, let alone training. It's just relentless rapid-fire maths questions that don't increase in terms of complexity, just in the way they're presented. So simple addition is laid out in cells with missing numbers or with illustrated cards. Gradually you get better, but purely through repetition. There's nothing clever here, and it didn't recognize the figure 8. Judgment. Overall, 54%. It's just mental arithmetic, not a game or entertainment. And that looks like all of the game reviews, less than 60% in this Games Master magazine from April 2008. April 2008. Thanks for tuning in to AZMR tonight. We're going to move along to reading out crystal cards, which I haven't done in a couple of weeks because I got kind of sick of it. I was like going to power through it in one go and then realized, wow, that's a lot of effort. So I'm just also taking them out of the packet. I was going to do them all in one go, and then there was quite a lot of them. So it became doing them in little batches, and then it was going on for too long. So I was like, you know what, we're going to have a rest week. But the goal is to work out what crystals we need in our lives. Maybe you pick a couple of them and you're like, yeah, these are going to be my crystals. We can be crystal people. So I've just been reading these cards from a deck called Crystals, the Stone Deck. 78 crystals to energize your life. Energize your mind, body and spirit with this luxe deck of 78 crystal cards. Each card features a dazzling stone on the front and an illuminating description on the back, and an accompanying booklet offers tips on how to use and care for your gems. Note, there was no accompanying booklet. Select a crystal based on your needs, or close your eyes and pull a card to see what the universe has in store. There's no such thing as random. Brimming with mystical wisdom on love, sex, strength, clarity, and productivity, this enlightening deck makes it easy to cultivate good vibes whenever you need to, wherever you are. So that's the crystals, the stone deck, what it is that I'm actually reading out. And we've gone through most of them. I think at this point about, I don't know, like 50 something ish. I don't really know. But you know, we've got a few left. We got about 25 left, I think. So we're gonna read like half of them today. And just see if any of these crystals strike our fancy. So I'm gonna give you description of them that will be equally terrible to previous episodes. So the first one is a green crystal. It's kind of jaggedy looking, triangle kind of shaped with like kind of jaggedy edges, not spiky, but yeah, jaggedy edges, I guess. Smooth on one side, it looks like smooth, but then yeah, bit rough. AzZmR. What it is. AzZmR is a brilliant blue-green mineral named after South America's famed river. The best AzZmR comes from Colorado. Who needs it? Teeth grinders. Anyone struggling with Mercury retrograde. Where to put it? Place AzZmR below the throat. Relax your jaw and ask for the courage to speak your truth. When to use it? When your inner child wants a real talk with you. Ask yourself what little you really want from life. Does it sound like what current you would want if you could just let yourself want it? Perfect. Now say it out loud for the whole universe to hear and go make it happen. Speak from your heart. AzZmR. Speak from your heart. The next one is quite a smooth looking stone. It's round-ish and kind of a yellowy colour. Pale yellowy colour. Moonstone. What it is. A shimmering protective talisman for travellers since way back. Moonstone is a dreamy white to peach-hued feldspar mineral for gazers of sky and soul. Who needs it? All you earth goddesses out there and the people you keep around who need to work on their empathy, patience and intuition. Where to put it? On your bedside table, in your overnight bag with your passport and eye mask. When to use it? Under a new moon. Use it to set intentions that align with your purest, life-affirming, inner child-nurturing calling. Under a full moon, moonstone belongs in the bedroom or wherever you get down. Find your natural rhythm. Moonstone, find your natural rhythm. The next one is like a very kind of black, shiny black stone, and it looks like it's kind of broken off in, like it's got a grain. It's hard to explain. Its edges look like it's broken off like slate, like in long kind of square bits. It's called black tourmaline. Black tourmaline. What it is? Grounding black tourmaline is a slightly magnetized, semi-precious gemstone with a reputation for protecting a delicate psyche from a case of the crazies and establishing powerful energetic boundaries between you and all the zombies out there. Who needs it? Everyone. Where to put it? Beside your doors to keep emotional vampires out. On your person, in your pocket, everywhere. When to use it? Anytime you take public transportation, find yourself in a crowd, or hear that sucking sound of a co-worker or family member or malignant demon taking more from you than they are giving back. Protect your light. Black tourmaline, protect your light. Next up we have a opaque kind of milky green stone with bits of black throughout. Emerald. What it is? One of the 4 precious gemstones. Emerald radiates with a wet, lush, verdant energy. Historically, emerald is associated with love, beauty, and sex. So, if you're into any of that, you might want to associate yourself with this saturated green gem. Who needs it? Aestheticists, bohemians, epicureans, transcendentalists. Where to put it? On a chain over your heart, or on a ring at the base of your left thumb, perched atop the Venus Mount. When to use it? When you've temporarily lost the courage to love and be loved. When you're in need of a total refresh, or open your heart to limitless possibility with emerald. Point your heart towards grace. Emerald, point your heart towards grace. The next one is kind of a yellowy, white, opaque crystal with kind of jaggedy shards poking at lots of different angles. And this one is barite. What it is? Barite is a widely occurring brittle surface mineral. It's often transparent or creamy white. Sometimes it's icy blue. Beautiful and frosty, desert rose is a calming variety of barite. Who needs it? Anyone who leaves for work each morning with the sinking suspicion that their true destiny is anything but this. Where to put it? Taped to your forehead during meditation. When to use it? When it's way past time to stop saying yes to things that you hate. Ask barite what your true calling is. Then go live it. It will be terrifying, but what's the alternative? Get answers to your biggest questions. Barite, get answers to your biggest questions. This next one is a brown rock looking stone. It's got a very cubed section and then another completely rough section. So part of it's been cut and part of it has not. pyrite. What it is. Pyrite, aka fool's gold, is a metallic sulfide mineral. Its blingy, confident vibes and often perfect cubic structure aligns us with nature's power to give energy to amazing, beautiful things like you, baby. Who needs it? The chronically lethargic. Anybody sleeping on their potential. Where to put it? Pyrite is often used near the solar plexus or will center, but it works wonders anywhere you need a little boost of masculine energy. For example, on the fellas, the low abdomen. Just saying. When to use it? On that romantic weekend away from the kids, and whenever the energy to power through feels shrouded in dark matter. Call on your core power. Pyrite. Call on your core power. Pyrite. The next one is a very lumpy looking stone. It's smooth but very nobular, and it's like a browny color, but that might just be the light. It could be like a yellowy or maybe a white. Magnesite. What it is. Heady magnesite is a magnesium carbonate crystal that ranges in color from clear to porcelain white to off pink to sepia toned. Its sometimes grooved, brain-like appearance mimics its cerebral energy. Who needs it? Intellectuals and Aquarians. Where to put it? Wherever you go to quiet the mind or wake the fuck up. When to use it? When you're just too smart for your own good. When you're completely lost in your thoughts. Or they're running wild, dragging you behind them. Remember, the mind is a powerful thing. You rule it or it rules you. Meditate every day and show it who's boss with magnesite. Get your mind right. Magnesite, get your mind right. The next one is a dark grey crystal. It's got like some smooth edges and some jagged edges. And it is jet. What it is. Earthy and grounding, this true black mineraloid variety of coal is an ancient fossilized driftwood. Who needs it? Empaths, witchy types. Where to put it? To clear a physical space or your body of uninvited vibes. Swipe jet over the affected area and tell toxic energies, spirits, and tensions to peace out. When to use it? When asking for guidance from elsewhere. Think seance, guided meditation, hardcore tarot session. Jet can take the edge off of high vibe stones like moldavite and serpentine, and is a wise old friend and to bring you as your +1 wherever your triggers are sure to be on the guest list. Claim your space. Jet, claim your space. The next one is a clear looking stone with very shardy looking pointy edges, and it's scholasite. What it is. Scholasite is a super vibey, icy white stone that forms in needle-like bursts. Who needs it? Up all night worrying about the coming singularity types, brave explorers of beautiful dreamscapes. Where to put it? Under your pillow before bed, wherever you want to establish an impenetrable chill zone. When to use it? When it's time to take your sleep hygiene to the next level, i.e. put down the phone, pick up a book, a paper one, sip a chamomile tea, slather on the lavender oil and wait for some rapid eye movement and those dreamy messages marked important by your subconscious. Dive into your dreams. Scholasite, dive into your dreams. The next one is a long long, narrow stone. It looks like it's clear, yellowy, but it could be a white, clear white stone. And it's danperite. What it is, like the beta blockers in Grandma's medicine cabinet, danperite's twinkling, effervescent energy takes the edge off with its serious feel-good vibes. Who needs it? Emos, goths, buttoned-up white-collar stress cases. Where to put it? Wherever you want to do some elevated thinking, feeling, dreaming, being. When to use it? When the daily grind has ground you into the pavement. When you feel like launching into space, but lack astronaut training. Vibing with danperite can help divert your busy mind away from its pesky, physics-ruled orientation. There's somewhere else out there. Flip on the high beams and explore. Turn on your electric light, danperite. Turn on your electric light. The next stone is an orangey kind of stone that has smooth surfaces on one side and rocky looking surfaces on the other, and it's topaz. What it is? Topaz is the world's hardest silicon-based mineral. Its name alludes to the Sanskrit word for fire. In the Middle Ages, it was believed to cure crazy. Who needs it? Anyone burning A, the midnight oil, B, the candle at both ends, C, bridges, or D, all of the above. Where to put it? Wherever the action needs to happen. When to use it? When you're aiming in the right direction but keep misfiring. Passion is totally indispensable, but if you're not careful with it, it might burn you up. Call on topaz to transform wild obsessions into laser-like focus and burning desires into getting things done. Increase your firepower. Topaz, increase your firepower. The next stone is a kind of lumpy, smooth, sort of yellow, cleary yellow stone, and it's sunstone. What it is? Sunstone emanates feel-good vibes of warmth and radiance. The stone's orange and red sparkling light effect, aka spangling, aka aventurescence, is the result of copper inclusions reflecting light from within. Who needs it? Fellas looking to operate on a higher plane. The vitamin D deprived. All solar-powered human beings who do not in fact harvest life force by turning up the brightness on their smartphones. Where to put it? Anywhere you're looking for a boost in stamina. First thought, the gym? Sure, bro. When to use it? Whenever it's time to get busy, or when your disposition needs a little sunnying up. Take back your shine, sunstone. Take back your shine, sunstone. The next one is an orangey red coloured one with lots of crystally looking bits, but they've all got flat tops. They're not like pointy shardy bits, but they're kind of like flat little tiny squares of crystal, and it's vanadinite. What it is? Playful, geometric and fiery. Vanadinite, a mining byproduct often sourced from America's southwest, forms in orange to red hexagonal shaped crystals when lead ore oxidizes. Who needs it? Those lacking self-discipline. Where to put it? Vanadinite has a high lead content, so definitely not in your mouth. When to use it? When it's time to live in the moment. When you are the prime audience for a motivational speech. Whether it's hard work, making art, or just a blissed out moment free from the mind's ongoing commentary, an energizing meditation with vanadinite can help knock down whatever stands between you and your happy place. Break through your big blocks. Vanadinite, break through your big blocks. The next one we're going to do tonight is a pale pink, semi-transparent stone. And it's kunzite. What it is, a high vibe, lithium infused lilac pink stone that glows with an energy that could be described in a word as cuddly. Who needs it? Anyone with a heavy heart about something. Collectors of good vibrations. Where to put it? Place on your heart and breathe deeply of kunzite's cotton candy essence. Or hold in your left hand and whisper sweet nothings to yourself. When to use it? Call on kunzite after a breakup or a major disappointment, or when you're beating yourself up about something. You don't need permission to be here. You belong. If you forget that, pause, tap into kunzite pink prismic vibration and let love rule. Open up your love channel. Kunzite, open up your love channel, kunzite. So that's all we're going to do tonight. Hopefully you found one from this set that you want to be like your crystal for this week. What's going to be your crystal for this week? Was it amazonite, moonstone, black tourmaline, emerald, barite, pyrite, magnesite, jet, scholasite, danburite, topaz, sunstone, vanadinite, or kunzite? Which one did you choose from this week? Which one? That's all of the crystals, the stone deck we're going to do for tonight, but we probably have one more go left next week before we've done all of our crystals, and then we can choose our crystals, which I don't know if we'll remember them all by then. Let's be honest, we probably won't remember them all by then, but you know what, maybe you've been keeping track as we go along. Maybe you've been keeping track. I know that I haven't, but I probably should have some idea by the end. Maybe. Okay, let's move along for tonight. I'm just going to pack up these crystal cards. Thanks for tuning in to AZMR. We're going to move along to the next segment of the show. Last weekend I went to Tasmania with a couple of the members of my band, just for a cute, hanging out, going to a spa type deal. And we went down and spent the first night in Launceston, which is where my mum was born. But Bragg has a friend in Launceston who took us out on the town, and we made new friends along the way. And we ended up going to the Launceston Gorge, or the Cataract Gorge, in the middle of the night, or at 2 a.m, because we really wanted to go there, and we'd kind of low-key planned to go the next day and do the chairlift. And so we went, I don't know, for some reason we had a really good idea that we were going to go there at 2 a.m. in the dark, which ended up being quite fun. And we took some of our new friends and wandered around in the dark. And yeah, it was a bit cute. And so we ended up going back a few days later to actually do the chairlift, which is actually kind of terrifying. And we did take some cute videos of So I was with Kayla on a chair in front and Bragg was behind us on his own chair. And definitely Kayla doesn't like heights and was gripping very hard. I wasn't gripping because I was videoing it because I was having a cute time and having a giggle. But yeah, it was, mildly terrifying, especially when it was like the wind was blowing. But I did pick up, so across the weekend we went to a few places, which I guess I'll tell you over the coming weeks. But a few days later, when we were about the day we were flying out, we went back and we actually did the chairlift and went across the bridge, which is kind of, I think, less terrifying when it's not the middle of the night. Us walking across that bridge at 2 a.m. was a bit like, you could feel like it's swaying because it's quite a narrow suspension bridge, and you could hear like the water below you, but it was just all dark. So, it's fine. It's fine. I don't know how approved wandering around there in the night is, but we did it anyway. We were with locals, so I guess it's fine. But I picked up some pamphlets from things that we did and adventures we had across the days that we were down there. And anyway, I'm just gonna read you the Gorge Scenic Chairlift brochure pamphlet thing for the Launceston Cataract Gorge, which was, it was a bit of a cute time. We went to the cafe there and we wandered around. We didn't do any of the big walks because I think by that point we were on our way home. So we were like, just tuck it out from doing things for several days. And but it's Gorge Scenic Chairlift, world's longest single chairlift span. Well, there was definitely, it was definitely a big span of chairlift action. And the wind would like blow you and it would wobble terribly. But I'm sure it was fine. I'm sure it was very safe. You also weren't really secured in very well. Like you were sitting on this little seat and there was a bar that came over, but the bar wasn't secured at all. It was just like flopped over. So it didn't really feel super secure. Anyway, on the front of the pamphlet is a photo of the bridge, Alexandra Bridge, in the background with the chairlift in the foreground at the Cataract Gorge, and there's a picture of a peacock and some people having a cute time on the chairlift. Okay, Launceston Cataract Gorge. When you're in the north of Tasmania, a must-do is the Gorge Scenic Chairlift, a breathtaking experience that is certain to be the highlight of your holiday, which will create memories that will last with you forever. Open every day, no need to book. A scene of natural beauty probably not surpassed in the world. I love the use of the word probably. The Gorge Scenic Chairlift travels over the huge naturally formed basin filled by the waters of the South Esk River flowing through the gorge. Unique with an overall length of 457 metres, the 308 metre central span is the longest in the world. There are many varied walks and activities nearby, and most can entertain a whole day here. But if you only have an hour or two, we recommend the short visit circuit below. Absolutely breathtaking, the highlight of our holiday. Short visit circuit, time required 1 hour plus. Ride the chairlift to the original Cliff Grounds Reserve. On arrival, visit the Interpretation Centre in the historical Band Rotunda, where you can read stories of a bygone era. Next, walk to the Alexandra Suspension Bridge. Along the way you will see the Cataract and Alexandra lookouts. if you are feeling adventurous, the Cataract Lookout takes you up through Snake Gully and will give you views back into the city. Return to the Cliff Grounds Reserve. The must-do walk is the Cataract Walk, which takes you along the edge of the gorge on the original walking track that was carved out back in the 1890s. You will pass Dog Rock and the Duchess Hut on your way to Kingsbridge and then return. Finally, ride the chairlift back to the main entrance. Walking and hiking tracks include map of walking tracks on tickets. These include gentle walks to challenging hikes. Key: gentle walk green, enthusiastic walk orange, challenging hike red. Cataract walk green, basin loop green, sentinel lookout orange, duck reach trail red, daffodil walk green, Alexandra lookout orange, cataract lookout red, Eagle Eyrie lookout red, Snake Gully and Reedy Gully trail red. Cataract Gorge c. 1850. 180 million years ago, during the Jurassic period, Australia was part of the supercontinent of Gondwana. At that time, Australia was joined to the Antarctica, Africa, South America and India. Over time, continental drift occurred, and Australia broke away to become the only island continent on the planet today. During this breakup, extensive earthquake activities caused large volumes of dolerite magma to be emplaced in Tasmania and in parts of Antarctica, Africa, and South America. The earthquake that created the Cataract Gorge would have been far more powerful and devastating than any earthquakes that occur in the world today. It is believed that volcanic activity near the current Batman Bridge dammed the Tamar Valley, which created a freshwater lake stretching all the way back to Launceston, 5 kilometres wide in places, but this was eroded roughly 10 million years later. The river system rapidly carved out a new landscape, hence the unearthing of the two major faults that are responsible for the formation of the Tamar Valley and Gorge systems. It is believed the final formation of the gorge began when the last series of ice ages commenced 3 to 4 million years ago. The final melting of the ice on Tasmania's mountains 20,000 years ago saw the gorge excavated to its current levels. Originally, there were 4 basins in the gorge system. Today, the first, second, and third still exist, but the 4th basin has disappeared under the Turrbal Dam. Getting there. Follow signs from Frederick Street or GPS 69 Basin Road. P.O. Box 600 Launceston, Tasmania 7250. Phone 036331 5915. Email info@gorgechairlift.com.au. Follow us on Gorge Scenic Chairlift, gorgechairlift.com.au. And I do have a ticket, because yes, we did do the chairlift. It's $15 one way, $15 GST inclusive. Map of recommended walks and places of interest. This is on my ticket. NB, this mud map is exclusive of other directional signs and is not to scale. There are no numbers in the reserve. Ticket valid only on day of purchase. Date 21st of October 2024. Tax invoice 86937. Places of interest: 1. Chairlift main station. 2. Chairlift return station. 3. Interpretation Centre. 4. Alexandra Lookout. 5. Alexandra Suspension Bridge. 6. Dog Rock. 7. Cataract Gorge and and Gorge Walk. 8. Cliff Grounds Gardens and Restaurant Cafe. 9. Eagle Eyrie Lookout. 10. Cataract Lookout. 11. Sentinel Lookout. 12. Duck Reach Walk. 13. Zigzag Track. And 14. King's Bridge. So I think we were going to do the zigzag track in the middle of the night, and then someone was like, no, let's not. I don't know. It would have been a much longer trip, I think, if we had done that. We ended up just doing like chairlifting across and then walking back across the Alexandra Bridge. But I wouldn't mind going to some lookouts if we were to go again. But we were just like, when we went there in the middle of the night, we weren't tuckered out. It was like an adventure, but you couldn't see anything, so it was probably not super wise to go on like a 40-minute hike on one of the like red zone walks. And then by the time we got back on the way home, we just tuckered out. We didn't want to do any big hikes or walking up to lookouts or anything. So on the back of my ticket, I guess there's like terms and conditions or whatever. It says breathtaking views of Launceston's famous Cataract Gorge and First Basin from the chairlift. Tasmania was once ruptured by earthquakes as violent as the earth has ever seen, when the surrounding hills were torn and fractured. The South Esk River followed the depression formed at the time, widening and deepening the gorge as, over the centuries, it eroded the shattered rocks. When William Collins of the brig Lady Nelson first observed the area in 1804, he wrote that the beauty of the scene is probably not surpassed in the world. So that's where that quote came from. The chairlift spans some 457 metres from terminal buildings at the basin end and an idling station at the cliff grounds side. The central span of 308 metres is believed to be the greatest single span of any chairlift in the world. Seating is designed for complete safety and includes a safety bar which can be operated by either passenger or attendant. The slow speed of the chairlift enables passengers to appreciate fully and photograph the spectacular views of this ancient rock gorge. Passenger note: 1. Persons within the boundaries of the chairlift must observe directions of authorized chairlift attendants. 2. Safety bars must be closed during journey and opened approximately 5 metres from platform in preparation to landing. 3. Children under 8 years must be accompanied by an adult. Small children must be nursed, harnessed, supplied. 4. When getting off the chairs, the person on the left must get off to the left, wait for the chair to pass, and then proceed to the exit. The person on the right must get off to the right and may proceed directly to the exit, which is situated to the right hand of the platform. 5. Passengers must not bounce, swing chairs, throw any objects, or travel around terminal wheels. 6. Bottles and cans are prohibited on the chairlift. 7. Persons behaving in a disorderly manner will be prosecuted. 8. Personal items are carried at the passenger's own risk and should be limited to that which can be carried comfortably. Your safety and enjoyment is our primary concern. Please allow our attendants to assist you and follow the instructions of our attendants at all times. Any person requiring assistance because of age, disability, or a medical condition is required to advise our authorised chairlift attendants. Tasmanian Chairlifts, Launceston, Tasmania. ABN 574023795336, www.gorgechairlift.com.au, email info@gorgechairlift.com.au, PO Box 600 Launceston 7250, phone 03 6331 5915. follow us at Gorge Scenic Chairlift. So that was my Gorge Scenic Chairlift ticket. Terms and conditions. Or whatever. So that was just one of the many pamphlets I picked up on my journey when we went to Tasmania last weekend, which was a bit of a cute time with Kayla and Bragg and myself. So next up, we're gonna do some origami folding. And we did this a few weeks ago, but we only made 2 out of the 69 different origamis that we could have done. So I thought we'd do another couple. From this origami booklet, Teeny Baby, it says origami. 40 sheets of folding paper, 69 simple models, step-by-step diagrams, includes an origami storage box, which is just like a cardboard envelope that the paper's in. Published by USA Sunshine. So I'm just going to open it up. So there's a few different colours of paper. There's like blue and blue with flowers, and there's a pink and a pink with flowers, and an orange with these pinwheels, and there's a reddy colour, and then a red with flowers, and a purple, and then a purple with starbursts, and then green and green with flowers, and a yellow with flowers. So the flowers are white on like a yellow background. You get it? And it's a little booklet, and we read through all the basic folds and how to fold the basic folds last time, which we're not going to do again, but we are going to read through the contents again so that we can choose which one we're going to make. So the contents is Introduction 1, Introduction 2, and Basic Folds 3, which we did read last time. We did read this last time. Toys, pinwheel, balloon, fortune teller, monkey on the roof, big mouth, little bubbling fish. Vehicles, glider, aircraft, bomber, air scout, rocket, space shuttle, sailing boat, fishing boat, car and jeep. Wares, cup, square box, decoration box, fruit tray. Commodities, table, chair, tea table, bed, piano, telephone, photo frame, purse, bag, watch, top, trousers, shirt, sombrero, garrison cap and hat. Plants, tulip, lily, morning glory, mushroom. Bugs, cicada, ladybird, locust, snail. Aquatic animals, goldfish, carp, starfish, frog, turtle, whale. Birds, rooster, hen, chick, duck, goose, eagle, peacock, crane, pigeon, parrot, crow, penguin. Animals, rabbit, horse, deer, fox, seal, elephant, and rhino. So last time we made a shirt and a peacock. A shirt and a peacock. So what will we do this time? There's lots of different types of paper plane. I don't know about paper planes. But we could do, let's start off with a balloon. Let's do a balloon. So, 1, start with a water bomb base, fold 2 corners. Okay, so I'm going to have to go back to the basic folds. Water bomb base. Okay, is it water bomb base A or water bomb base B? It looks like shit. What's the difference? It doesn't say whether it wants us to do water bomb base A or water bomb base B, but let's just go water bomb base A. So we are going to have to flick back to the basic folds. And we're going to do it in one of the sheets of blue with white flowers. So water bomb base A, fold in half. Repeat step 1, so I'm folding it in half again. Pull the upper layer and squash the corner. Repeat behind. Finished. So I have like a triangle shape. Okay, that's the water bomb base A. And now I'm going to go back to the balloon page. Start with water bomb base. Fold the two corners inwards. Fold the two corners. And 2, repeat behind. Three, Fold the 2 corners to the center and repeat behind. Fold the 2 corners downwards and repeat behind. Repeat behind. 5. Insert the 2 corners into the pockets and repeat behind. 6 is repeat behind. This is a little bit tricky. Okay, sort of. And then it says inflate the balloon, so I'm supposed to blow in this little bit here. Hold up. That actually worked pretty well. That actually worked pretty well. Now I have a balloon, so it's like a kind of cubular, like a puffed out cube. So that was the balloon. So we've definitely got time for another one. So I'm going to have a little look. What else should we do? Should we do an animal? Let's do an animal. Let's do... let's make a parrot. Let's make a parrot. Okay, we're gonna make a parrot. Let's make a parrot. So it says fold the corners as shown. So this one looks a bit tricky. One corner gets folded in kind of to the center, and then two get folded up diagonally, so you're making kind of an isosceles triangle. So what color will we do our parrot? Let's do a green parrot. Let's do a plain green parrot. So fold the corners as shown. This one's going to be a bit tricky, so I might just make a cheeky diagonal fold so I can see where I've got to fold them. Hopefully that will make it easier for me to tell. Okay, so the parrot. 2. Squash the two corners. 2. Squash the two corners. What does that mean? So I've got to fold it like... So this bit looks kind of tricky. It looks like I folded sort of back and down. Kind of looks tricky. Hold up. Done one and it kind of looks right. Okay. super symmetrical, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. That was a bit tricky. Okay. 3. Fold the 2 corners upward. Fold the 2 corners upward. 4. Flatten. Okay. 5. Turn it over and fold back in half. Turn it over and fold back in half. 6. Inside fold to make the head and the tail. Inside fold to make the head and the tail. So it looks like you kind of got to tuck it in. Oh, I see. Yeah, you got to kind of tuck it into itself on the corners. Okay. There's the little beak. There's the little tail. Now it says step 7, draw eyes, and then finished. So I'm going to draw some eyes. Okay, the eyes are a bit janky. They're kind of not on the symmetrical spots. But anyway, so now we have a parrot. and a balloon. In origami. Thank you everyone for hanging out with me while I fold some origami. And thanks everyone for tuning in to AZMR this evening on Zed Digital, Zed Digital. I'm now going to play some gentle piano just to help you drift off to sleep tonight. Thanks for tuning in tonight, and good night, 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 good night.